Thank you for joining me for another quick hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. I'm known as the mental MacGyver. I provide luxury level, high performance support and coaching to executives, founders, celebrities, and athletes. With me today, I have Deborah Caicedo. She's the VP of Sponsorship, Sales, and Development at Experience Epic, an events production agency. I have Dr. Bob Choat. He has 8 years military experience, has worked with the LAPD, was a stage hypnotist, and is now an executive performance coach and going back to school for yet another PhD, this time in physics. And I have Kevin Wash. He's a coach, mentor, author, trainer, speaker, running a consultancy business specializing in sales for international property development. He is based in Spain, but coming to us from Cairo today. The question I have: how do you decide how much of who you are personally you share in your business? Dr. Bob, kick us off.
Yeah, I started thinking about this question since you posed, and it got me thinking that I look at what is the purpose of even talking about ourselves?
Mm,
Because I think that's really, really important to start. Because if it's to help in terms of our business, especially when it's in a professional environment, and also look at the context. So purpose and context.
mm,
For example, if I'm in a board meeting or something like that, I'm not going to be talking about myself personally unless it has to do with the context of the presentation. When I was both in the Marines and also as a police officer with the LAPD, we would talk about ourselves personally a lot. But when I was running my businesses, that was a whole different environment.
interesting. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
If I was to give a short answer, my short answer would be not much. Meaning
Really?
I don't share very much. I limit what I share because for me, I'm there on a professional basis. And the professional me is a very different person to the personal private me.
Mm,
So what I tend to share is, and there's a reason for this, I share that I'm married to a beautiful lady from Venezuela and we have 3 fur babies. And the
mm,
reason why I tell them about 2 dogs and my cat is firstly, because I absolutely love and adore them. And the second thing is, it's a genuine passion of mine. And I find that if I'm working amongst any other animal lovers, I have an immediate connection with them.
that makes sense. Deborah.
I do, for better or worse, bring a great deal of myself into my work because it has to do with passion. It has to do with the value that you're bringing to a potential client or a person or an experience or an event. It's a very difficult job to do without that passion. And if you don't have that personally, I'm not saying that you can't do it, but when you do have it, it's a lot easier. It's a lot more effective. It is something that I bring to as many aspects of my life as I can. And the fact that I really do care about the results, I care about, the people that I love and that I work with. And that is reflected in, I hope, the job that I do.
When I started thinking about this question, I realized 2 things. One, I share a lot of stories about my past. And part of that is because there's a lot of chaos in my past. And I feel like my clients and people who may be potential clients resonate with the fact that I've been resilient and I've been through a lot of things. But my personal life now and any challenges I might be having now, I don't share those because that feels like I'm unburdening myself on them, which is not my client's responsibility. So while I at first thought, oh yeah, I share a lot of my personal life, it's not anything about what's going on now in my life. I would never talk about that. It's all about my past and what I've come through. And I share it because I feel like here's a story that says I can relate to you and how I handled it or how, you might think about it.
Yeah, I agree there. I
Yeah.
think what's happening in my current personal life, I wouldn't share. Outside, if there's stories that can relate to a subject that I'm talking about. For
Mhm.
example, let's say I'm out and I have something that happens that becomes a story. So it's an outside story.
Mhm.
And then I can bring it back and then help with my clients. And I also bring up my past quite a bit. Like when I was that 17-year-old jarhead going into the Marines in 1968 in the height
Mhm.
of Vietnam and all that kind of stuff. My 5 years with LAPD, all these kind of stories. I can extract stories out of there, like what you do. Outside of that, I think I really wouldn't do it. Now, I do concur with Deborah. I think we have to have passion. I think that's very important. So if her stories or her personal life, and it's connected to her work and bringing out that passion, and I think each one of us, we utilize our passion in terms of what we do, and people will actually pick that up.
I
Yeah,
think,
exactly. And I think that your past experiences, or all of our past, brought us to where we are right now. And that can be something that can be shared for the betterment or the educational or just the feel good to a client or a fellow coworker.
I think to pick up on passion, I mean, passion is one of my favorite words. And it's one of the best things that anybody can bring into any environment, whether it's personal, professional, sports, business, music, whatever. I have a massive passion for what I do. But so that doesn't limit me or inhibit me in any way, shape, or form. But it's not me in private. My private passions are very different. I'm the guy that sits back and listens. Professionally, I'm the guy that has to stand up and project himself. So I'm there to do a job to satisfy my clients' needs and demands. And maybe because I'm not an employee, I'm always going in as the outsider. That's why for me, it's a secondary, who I am is secondary. If I can use experiences of my life that I think will fit that situation, what I tend to do, it's a bit like you're saying, Bob, but I do it slightly differently. I tend to talk about stories that have happened with me, but I don't make the story about me. I create another character. I'm sharing a third-party story. So it's a point of reference about a certain situation. So it's not just about me. I want the people that I'm engaging with to hear different sides of it.
When I first started doing this work, I was very much the buttoned up executive coach, like you're the client, I'm the person coming in to help you, and my personal stuff is my personal stuff. And it felt very cold and transactional, and I didn't get really good results. And what I've found is as I've become warmer and more open to sharing, like this is the human being, the flawed human being that I am, people have become much more willing to share their stories with me, be open and honest with me, and allow me to help them. But so for me, if I don't show who I am, it's really bad for my business. But there still has to be that professional line of, I don't dump my stuff on them. That's not what I mean.
Yeah. I was going to say, just on that line there, Robyn, it's great. You're saying sharing is caring. I kind of flip it the other way. And I think for me, caring is sharing. And I want my clients to share their experiences with me so I can work out how I can help them. Because I think they're more important than I am. And that's more important than me sharing who I am, really, because I'm there to do a job. And if I do the job, the results are proven and I get paid and I get invited back again. And I'm a very warm person with people, and people are very appreciative of my friendliness. They don't really know anything about me, and I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah, it's interesting how we all approach this a little bit differently. And I wonder if there's some kind of gender thing there, because it sounds like, Deborah, you and I are more likely to share who we are personally, and Bob and Kevin are more likely, they'll share stories, but they keep who they are personally a little closer to the vest.
I'm definitely noticing that. I think from what you just said, Dr. Robyn, that when you do that type of sharing, you definitely allow people to be more vulnerable and honest if they have an inclination to be that way with you, and maybe feel that they can let their guard down a bit and allow you to help them or be of service to them. I just think that in my case, with my particular profession, when people can see and believe the excitement that I genuinely have about working with them and their plans, this is a huge part of their lives, a huge significant event in their lives. I always feel like I can feel the energy coming, and they're like, yeah, you get it, you understand.
Right.
There's sometimes also you can share information in the wrong way. You can share it badly. If I give you an example, I can remember vividly once sitting in a training room and the facilitator said something along the lines of, I'm sure this person thought what they were saying was really useful and helpful. And they said something along the lines of, I used to be like you, but now I'm okay. And I think they were trying to engage the group and say, we can get through this, guys. Together we can all become wonderful. But it just sounded so
You're
awful.
broken. I can help you.
Yeah.
Wow.
How terrible. Well, that is our 10 minutes, so I'm going to cut us off there. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I appreciate you sharing some of your personal stories with me, and I look forward to speaking to you each again really soon.